So welcome to the grand finals of the Global Startup Pitch.
Third time.
Come on, we need some energy in this room. All right.
All right.
Judges, take your seats. Hello, Kimberly.
Hi, Pete. Third time's a charm, right?
Right. This is the third time for the Global Startup Pitch.
We're very fortunate to have had some wonderful sponsors for this year's event. It's the first time that we've actually been able to do this together as Phocuswright and WiT, and it has been a very interesting couple of years for startups.
Yes, it has been quite interesting. We just published our State of Travel Startup Study a month or so ago, which tracks all travel startups from 2012 to date, and there are over 2,100 of them. After crashing by 45% to just $4.5 billion in 2020, annual total funding to travel startups recovered impressively in 2021, clocking in at $12.5 billion, far exceeding the previous high of $8.3 billion in 2019.
Yeah, Pete, and I think it's important to note where that funding actually went. As you can see from this chart that we've put together, back in 2019, there was a lot more funding going into earlier stage startups, where in 2021, we saw that going to more established startups in the B and C range. So all of the startups here today have had to do more with less. Sound familiar, Pete?
That does sound familiar. I think a lot of us have been doing more with less. So we will all be watching to see if this is a continuing strategy for investors as we move into 2023. Regardless, we will invest again in the WiT Phocuswright partnership for the Global Startup Competition in 2023. Our return has been phenomenal.
Absolutely. I personally think that perhaps some of the success has been the incentive of coming to Singapore and eating some yummy dumplings. But whatever it was, we had 130 applicants for this year's startup competition from 38 different companies, which is really fantastic. Today, we're welcoming the 7 finalists to compete on the stage at WiT.
We definitely had some good incentives to join. The Startup of the Year winner today will have an opportunity to present on the Phocuswright conference stage in Phoenix this November, too. So I'll see your dumplings and I'll raise you tacos. Seriously, all the innovators who applied are incredibly creative entrepreneurs, all of whom will receive AWS credits for participating. Okay, let's get moving. To best manage the global competition, we broke the innovators into regions plus a wild card category for evaluation.
And that evaluation is going to be a tough job for our judges today and for all of you. If you haven't yet done it, please scan the code and you can download the WiT app to vote. You'll be voting for the People's Choice Award as the audience, and our judges will be voting for the Startup of the Year. And our judges are here, so
Yes.
I think we should introduce them.
Indeed.
Fred Baru from Amadeus.
Laura Holdsworth, Booking.com.
Morgan Leslie, Cambon Partners.
Lisa Katsuraki from eTraveli.
Steve Taub, JetBlue Ventures.
Tariq Khatri from the Siri Group.
Johnny Thorson, Spotnana.
Lily Wu from Stripe.
And David Peller from Noelia Novella.
All right, thanks to you all. So as a refresher, here are the judging criteria that we ask you think about as you're voting for People's Choice. The judges will also be voting on the startups using this criteria. So viability, customer appeal, technical innovation, sustainability, team, and everyone's favorite, the X factor.
And remember, 1 is low and 5 is high. So now, without further ado, we'll start the competition. Today, each startup will have 5 minutes to present, and then we will move into the judging round, where our judges will pull up their thumbs up or thumbs down. David has already been practicing, so he's doing really well. That's a good sign. And after that, we'll moderate a discussion for 2.5 minutes for each startup. Now, to keep things fair, I will jump in and stop time as and when we need to. So 5 minutes for the startup presentation and 2.5 minutes for Q&A. That is our startup pitch competition in a nutshell. First one up is our Middle East and Africa winner, Tiffanie Anderson, founder of Away to Africa.
Good morning. My name is Tiffanie Anderson. I am the founder and CEO of Away to Africa, and I am excited to present as a Phocuswright and Web and Travel finalist. Today, I'm here to walk you through Away to Africa's presentation of DxO-driven travel, the power of partnering with community. So just a little bit about myself. I am an attorney and professor, and it was during my study abroad program in 2006 that I went to Mama Africa for the first time, more specifically South Africa. And I vividly remember when it was time to leave South Africa, I was on the patio just like crying like a baby because I made such a close connection with the people, the culture, and the communities of South Africa. So an idea came to my mind of why don't I create a conduit for travelers seeking to connect with the continent outside of just visiting the Big Five game. So I did what any attorney would do. I pushed aside my dreams and I practiced law. And then about a decade later, in 2017, I decided to launch Away to Africa. And I formed a small team of women who all have a connection to the continent, and we officially launched Away to Africa. And I can say this is a passion project of mine. I have, in my capacity as a CEO, traveled to 17 countries throughout Africa. And the reason I'm not presenting in Singapore is because I'm going to be in Madagascar as we are expanding to an additional 3 countries for 2020. So I've personally shaken the hands of tour operators, met with SME owners on the continent, connected with those involved with our community outreach programs. I even slept in the beds of the hotels that we offer for accommodations. I traveled throughout the 4 corners of the continent to South Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, Eswatini, Egypt, Ghana, Morocco, and many others. So as a startup company, we had a pretty good year in 2019, and then what happened? In 2020, we saw COVID. And so as the borders begin to reopen, I started noticing a problem that majority of the unique and genuine tourist experts and tour operators were exiting the tourism industry for something more sustainable. At the same time, we saw a demand for those new travelers in 2022 who were demanding more meaningful travel, sustainable and responsible tourism. And we have to admit, the travelers in 2022 aren't the same as the travelers in 2019. So what did we do? To create a solution for this problem, we began pivoting to a DxO model. So what is a DxO model? We have a DMC, which is a destination management company, DMO, which is the destination marketing organization, and then a DxO. What is the X? The X is the X factor, or a more direct way to create, maintain, and perfect a range of local products that can sustain industry vitality. Now, how do we do this? This is through education, job creation, customer acquisition and retention, and creating a premier travel and tourism application. This way we can redefine our offerings and dictate change and redistribute tourism dollars into the communities that we are visiting. So when we presented previously, one of the judges asked, tell me again, what is the X in a DxO model? So the X is subjective, really. It is the fluid and adaptive nature and behavior required to create opportunities to benefit the greater community. And I personally feel like this is sustainable tourism. This is what we're looking, and this is the trend that we're moving towards in the tourism industry. Another question was asked, why now pivot to a tech-driven solution? And I can say that although we took an unconventional way to build a solid foundation, now is the time to employ a data-driven tech solution for impactful changes. Here you can see the business model for Away to Africa. And when we first launched, we were targeting millennials who spend on average $5,000 to $8,000 on experiences. But now we're starting to see more luxury travel. And with luxury travel, the clients are spending $10,000 to $50,000 per person. So what's next? You can see our ask here, and we're looking to bring on a CMO and CTO to further our digital reach to create a premier travel app connecting travelers throughout Africa, also connecting tourism professionals, empowering guides throughout traveling, and create engaging and immersive experiences for travelers. So I'm here to ask you, are you ready to go away to Africa? Thank you.
Great. So thanks for the presentation. I'll skip the niceties because we don't have time for that, but really love it. You say you want to create a tech-driven solution. Now, let me ask you, how many items does each tour have?
So when you say how many items do each...
So a flight is one item, you know, a hotel night is one item, a transfer is one item, massage, which I see that you love, there is lots of those, you know, that's one item. How many of those is there in one trip?
So I would say in one trip on average, it's about at least I would say 20 to 30 different variables, because you're looking at the transportation, you're looking at the accommodation, you're looking at the tour guide.
I'll just stop you right there. How do you, since you want to now build a framework, you want to build a tech solution around this, how do you envision to go about that? That sounds very expensive to me.
Because, well, they actually have some tech solutions with that answer, and they provide a white label opportunity where travelers can connect with one another when they're going on a trip, where they can see the hotels they're staying at, where they can see their flights, but it's missing that key component of interacting just to build an anticipation to travel, and also connecting with tourism professionals and also other enthusiasts of travelers throughout Africa. So we want to build a community. So there is an answer out there for, you know, the variables on a tour, but there is this space that's missing for building a community for those looking to travel throughout the continent.
So I want to piggyback a bit on that. So you talked a little bit about your supplier acquisition strategy, which sounds to me like boots on the ground, right? So you are going, you know, supplier to supplier. So that's also a pretty, you know, cost-intensive, time-intensive proposition. So how are you truly going about that?
It actually isn't. So when I'm going in October, I'm going to Madagascar, and then I'm going to Zimbabwe. I'm going to a tourism symposium or where you have tourism experts from all throughout the continent, and then you schedule meetings. So from one trip, I'm able to expand to maybe about like 10 different countries by meeting professionals in one space. Then I go on fam tours. So sometimes the tourism department or tourism authority will invite me in, and then they will take care of the expenses for me to travel throughout the country and get to learn the country and the products, so then we can sell. Or I just go on my own and invest in a company. So although it does sound like it would take time going to each country, it makes sense when you go to a travel space and you have everyone there at one time. So it is.
All right. Stefan, last question for you. We've got about 20 seconds left.
Exactly. So how do you intend to get this to the market? How will customers find out about you?
I would say, so marketing, that's what we're looking to bring on a CMO, because everything has been grassroots marketing, word of mouth, and also through our social media. So this is without any focus marketing, solutions. So I'm for sure and positive when we bring on a CMO who can focus on marketing strategies, creating and executing, then we'll be able to get it out there. But we're doing well just through word of mouth, because we are the only company providing cultural tours to this amount of countries on the continent.
Well done, Tiffanie.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tiffanie. And judges, please mark your scores for Tiffanie while we welcome up to the stage our winner of Europe, Noelia Novella of Doinn. Sorry, Noelia. Come on up to the stage. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bear with me for starting with a controversial question here. Is hospitality a real estate industry? What makes this iconic hotel different of a premium residential building? I would say that hotels, holiday homes, and even co-livings are a real estate venture with an operating company. And the bottom of the iceberg that not many people see is that getting the properties guest ready is hard for hospitality operators, but for the housekeepers and the housekeeping companies, it's not easy either. Getting a 5-star reviews in cleanliness, for example, these days is super complex. They are facing challenge related to quality assurance, to labor shortage, communications, logistics, predictable data, and financials. So this is what we are doing, an operations center for hospitality operators and for service providers, allowing already to book more than 400,000 cleaning services and helping them with our intelligent analytics. We are providing with a full scope of data for this quality, human capital, communication, logistics, and predictable financials. Fortunately for the industry, cleaning companies are now doing it better, growing with tech, growing with data, increasing their operational efficiency by 47%. More than 250 cleaning and linen companies overseas countries have become digital with our all-in-one operation center, where they have, when they gather all the cleaners, all the jobs, all the clients, and all the dispatching needs in a single platform with an app to communicate with the cleaners that actually is bringing transparency to the performance of the service. With the power of artificial intelligence, translation tools to help diverse cleaners to communicate in their own language. What happened with hospitality operators and even distribution platforms, they are also now doing it better with our all-in-one global operations center, improving their operational efficiency by 30% and becoming the big brother for the operations of all the portfolio. They can be using our technology for their in-house teams of cleaners, but they can actually outsource our cleaning providers in over 200 cities for them to grow with confidence. The same confidence we have about a better world is possible. We promote, we give more services to our green cleaning providers. We help them to optimize the linen deliveries, and the 10% of these deliveries are already done by bike. We also help them with financial transparency, with the invoicing part, with the collections, with the tax payments. But more than this, we are here for the people. We only onboard cleaning and linen companies that are free from exploitative practices and that integrate people with disabilities and that follow the law. We really want to have all the cleaners out of the black market. We really need them to have them happy for the sustainability of our industry. To tell you a little bit about us, we started in Portugal. Our services are available worldwide. Now, our software is available worldwide. Our service, 35 linen and cleaning services can be booked in Europe and in the States, and we just opened our Singapore office. In fact, I brought the whole family along to develop the APAC market and to look the right funding partners for our Series A. All this couldn't be possible without the team of Doinners and the support of Google for Startup and 500 Global. I hope it's clear what we are doing. Hospitality operations made simple and professional. My name is Noelia, and I'm the CEO.
All right. Well done, Noelia. Okay, Noelia, have a seat. Judges, what did we think? Paddles up.
Second?
Yes, sit down. Go ahead, please.
Let's see. Looks like
Let's see. Paddles.
paddles up.
Oh, a sea of green.
Lots of greens. Oh, well, Laura, you were kind of on the fence. What do you think, Laura? What sort of comments do you have? You are part of a fairly large hospitality organization. What sort of advice do you have to Noelia?
Well, firstly, congratulations on getting this far. I think it's a very interesting approach. I would love to hear more about how you are going to scale the providers and the go-to-market, but we can come back to that. But how do you scale the providers coming from a very large-scaled organization?
Any other comments? And then we'll come to you, Noelia.
Sorry. I went straight to question.
Johnny?
Yeah, so I think this is fascinating because I don't know much about the cleaning in the hospitality sector, but I imagine it's an incredible fragmented industry. So to Laura's point, how can you reach out and open many cities fast? What's the kind of the marketing and business opening challenge?
Anyone else from this side?
That
Morgan?
was already a lot of questions. Congratulations on a great presentation, by the way. You're really solving a real problem. That's what I like about that, because it's easy to tackle easy problems. This one is a hard one. So I think the industry can just welcome the expansion of your model.
Anything else? Any other comments?
I think I would possibly echo the same thing about the scalability of this operation, because working in one city, one neighborhood, kind of you have full control over it. But when you start scaling up into multiple locations, multiple geographies, how do you control the entire quality and the delivery of the service?
All right, Noelia. Scale seems to be a
Scale.
big point. So what sort of comments do you have on that?
Well, the pandemic was pretty bad for us as well, as you can imagine, but somehow it was necessary a pandemic for people to understand the value we were bringing. And also, the cleaning companies felt the need of becoming digital. So they are actually searching for us, and we don't have many competitors. It's not a super sexy business, so there are not many softwares specialized in cleaning for hospitalities around there. So yeah, that's the way we scale, quite organically.
So you're taking a lot of inbound. What's the other part of your, I think Johnny asked a little bit about go-to-market. What's the other part of your go-to-market strategy?
Well, we are integrated with a few PMSs. Somehow we are like a PMS, but for the cleaning company. So our system is able to convert every checkout in automatic way into a cleaning and linen service. So yeah, that's the way we grow with the partnerships with the PMSs. The
Thank
softwares.
you, Noelia. We're out of time. Thanks a lot. Well done. Okay, next up, we have our wild card winner, the wild card Mark Radford. Thanks, Mark. Come on up. GOPASS Global. 5 minutes when you start speaking.
Cool, yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're pretty excited about being here. And we're going to be talking about risk analytics in pre-travel assessment for travel. And obviously, this 5 minutes, I'll be sharing the journey of GOPASS Global as a startup. And of course, after 5 minutes, you're going to realize that pre-travel risk assessment is actually a super sexy area of the industry. So just going back to what we're essentially a data and an analytics company. We were already out there in the marketplace with a COVID risk product, which has been accepted by over 200 customers. And what we're looking to do is to take that experience just wrapped around COVID risk into full risk and be offering that as you'll see. We'll have a little look at the product and you'll see that kind of real-time experience that we're bringing to the customers and align that with a new travel industry safety management program, ISO 31030.
And travellers everywhere.
No, sorry.
In the new travel landscape, risk is now the highest consideration when travelling. GOPASS Global provides travellers, travel agencies and corporations with all the most important facts in near real time about how to choose the safest journey. GOPASS Global perfectly supports your duty of care in a COVID-impacted world. Consider these powerful GOPASS solutions. GOPASS Travel Risk Optimizer provides a single view of all the biosecurity risk elements of a trip. Enter your travel plans, and the optimizer system will assess and rank the level of risk with flights, airports, airlines, aircraft, and even seating. GOPASS Travel Risk Assessment is a detailed report based on the optimizer findings. A travel agency can also insert a trip PNR for a specific risk assessment. Reports cover all aspects of the planned trip and offer recommendations about the safest travel options and what to avoid. GOPASS BioRisk Map gives you the risk status of countries around the world in near real time, with clear risk ratings. Simply tap on a destination and get the most current information about COVID-19 restrictions and requirements, even at a state or county level. Visit our website now to learn more about our game-changing solutions or to book a demonstration. Travel with confidence with GOPASS Global.
That's cool. So at the end of the day, what are we really doing? And it's pretty simple. So we're taking very complicated, very confusing scenarios of being able to try and manage risk, and we're boiling that down to a very simple experience for our customers. So the potentiality for this is enormous. So currently there's no pre-travel existing digital solution out there in the marketplace. And we have corporate customers who have got 5- and 6-person teams trying to manually analyze this and using kind of ticker box and manual process to try and assess risk. And this is just not sustainable or scalable within the organization. So as I mentioned, we already have that COVID piece. That's about 6 data sets for us. We're expanding that into about 63 data sets and be able to provide that full risk platform. So this will include expanding that bio portfolio, societal, political, geo, and of course, economic risk. And we're all experiencing the impact of political war zones and of course, climate change risk in our daily lives. So I'm super proud of the platform and the effort that the team put in to build this. We actually were asked by our technology partner, Microsoft, to present to their analyst group for their Q2 delivery and really talk about how we're using native cloud, microservice-based platform and what that does to us as far as economies for a startup, and also what features we're able to deliver to the end user customers. So fantastic team. We're very international, kind of all around the globe, but a really great mix of data science, data engineering, and melding that with the deep experience in the travel industry. So in summary, for us, we love to go out there and approach and capture those individual customers. But I think there's what we've seen afoot over the past 2-3 years is there's a much bigger play if we're able to deliver a risk buffer to the industry to make it safer, more sustainable, and more ethical. That would be an amazing outcome for us. So, hopefully sexy. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Mark. Okay, judges, what did we think? Paddles up. Oh.
Couple of sideways, couple of reds. So we're about 50-50 on this one. I think Tarek, you are a full red. So what sort of concerns do you have about GOPASS?
So I think one of the important issues would be how do you build trust in terms of whatever content that you're kind of providing, and why should anybody trust the information that you're providing them?
Yeah, sure. So,
and Mark, let's get through a couple points, and then we'll go to you at the end. Lily?
I just wanted to know, after COVID has finished, in terms of your strategy to go full risk, do you imagine that your traction would decline because of this aspect? And also, what is your current traction?
Sure.
And if I might add on that, just a couple of things. I mean, it's clear that you're doing a lot of work on the back end in terms of analytics, but really, how large is the market, and what's the link and the call to action there, other than the big things of having a war here and not being able to travel someplace else?
All right, one more comment from this side, Steve.
Yeah, well, so I guess my question is, how accurately can you forecast things, how far ahead? Because it needs to be accurate fairly far ahead to be useful. And honestly, if I could have predicted, 3 months ahead, the war in Ukraine, COVID, I would be. There's a lot of other ways to make money off of it rather than selling a software solution, right?
Yeah.
I would invest in the stock market.
All right, Mark, let's give you a chance here to respond to some of these. So building trust.
Yeah, sure. So it's part of our DNA. So our team of data scientists, we've operated in this environment. Our average age in our data team is 16 years of experience. And this is delivering to the Australian Bureau of Statistics and very high level, as you say, bodies of trust all around the world. So so our modeling is based on UN standards of data building and delivering data as well.
All right, how about as the pandemic starts to wind down, what does that do to your market opportunity?
Yeah, sure. So a big aspect of COVID was actually the information side of things. What are the regulations, etc. there? So that's definitely petered off. But what we have, that's almost been like a fantastic beta for us to get into market and realize what risk is to those customers and what we need to do in the full risk product. So that's been a fantastic validation for us going forward. And we've already got a lot of those existing customers who want to upgrade into those full risk products. We've got some very large corporates also, want to embrace that as well.
Okay, thanks, Mark. That's time.
And judges, make sure you're voting as we're going here.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Mark.
Cheers,
thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, judges, remember, scores are 1 is low, 5 is high. Next one up is the winner of Latin America, Cláudia Bacchus, who's coming to us today from Pingium. Welcome, Cláudia.
Oops. Can you help me to go to the beginning? Okay, so I'm Cláudia Bacchus. I'm co-founder of Pingium, and I couldn't be honored more to be here representing Latin America and the right that every person should have to get the right to say hello to this new world. So we are a Pingium, a travel social network that was created to provide travelers unique traveler experiences. We are here to provide you the rights to travel and to find the right company to do so. We all know here that traveling became people's greatest desire after the pandemic. But do you know that 70% of Latin American women are afraid of traveling alone? And 60% of them don't even think about traveling because of that. Pingium emerged to provide this possibility to everyone, even for those ones who don't allow themselves to travel because they don't have travel company. Just like the women, especially them, and just like Bianca and Samara, who had a dream to travel to Rio de Janeiro, but they didn't have travel company. So they found each other through Pingium. They had a perfect match, and they organized everything they need for their trip and buy everything through our platform. And obviously, they traveled together and had their dream trip together. And not only them, we couldn't be happier to see every day a lot of users sharing experiences and new friendships that they have made through our app. We are now more than 90,000 users, and penguins, as we call our users, sharing stories there every day. How does it work? So first, you create your travel profiles, you put your interests there, and you're going to be connected to people with the same interests and same interests in destinations and things that you like to do. And then once you find your perfect match, you can buy everything you need for your trip in the app, and obviously share every step of your trip through our social network. This is what makes our business model so special. We are focused on a B2C strategy as well as at the B2B. And this is a glimpse of our new look and feel of the app that will be launched in a few next weeks. And why Pingium? We strongly believe in a network effect and the power of a great community. So we build the trust and the power for people to create value in the community to the community. And we have been doing that since the beginning of our journey. We started right before the pandemic in 2019, so it was a tough beginning, but the last year has been really exciting. We got a few awards, international and national, and also acceleration programs, and also our first raise of angel investors. And our numbers also can show that even the pandemic, our transactions grew up 10 times, and our engaging rate grew 500%. We are doing that through a B2B2C strategy. So we are going to the companies to get to the consumers. And we are doing that trying to choose wisely the partners we are partnering with. For example, Bondinho Pão de Açúcar, which is one of Brazilians' biggest attractions. And we're going to be their community partner. And through them, we're going to receive approximately 5,000 new users per day, which is awesome for us, and we're going to do this with more partners every day. And we also have a community building strategy for a member, for a B2C strategy, which is a member-get-member strategy that we call Pingium. And our competitive matrix is also something that is really interesting because there are a lot of people doing parts of the job that we are doing in this world, and very inspiring ones. But the most important thing is that every competitor can be available at our platform. So all of them can be our partners, as many of them already are. We have now more than 40 partners in our app working with us to bring more customers every day. And there's a buzz about us in Brazil. Big media is talking about us in Brazil and Latin America, and we're looking forward to be international covered too. So if someone is there, it's going to be nice for us too. And who is making this happen? We have a huge multidisciplinary team with people from very and vast, big knowledge into the tourism sector as well as startups. So we are a startup that was built from woman to woman, but not only that, we are focused a lot in sustainability as well. And that's it. So let's get to say hello.
Time's up. Thanks a lot, Cláudia. Have a seat. We're going to have the judges bring their paddles up. Let us know how you feel. What's the initial read? Paddles up.
Ooh, lots of greens.
Lots of
Lots of
green.
greens. Looks like a full run of greens. So
All
pretty
right.
ambitious. Cláudia, who wants to jump in first?
Yep.
Fred?
Thank you. Great presentation. One question for every community of this in this world is how do you curate the people that are actually part of the community, and how you make sure that actually people you want in that community and are going to protect the members of the community?
Anyone else want to jump in or share some thoughts or comments?
Cláudia, thanks for your energy there. It's exciting. I was just going to sort of echo Fred's comment. You're basically connecting strangers to travel with strangers. Sounds like there could be some interesting interplay there. But I'd be curious, how do you protect the safety and integrity of the community?
And
Morgan?
Maybe a last one. How big this can really be?
Anyone else? Lily?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I was traveling across Europe and South America by myself, and I definitely felt this pain of not being able to travel with somebody. And I was lucky I met somebody, but it's congratulations. I wanted to learn more about how are you competing with, you said you mentioned you're working with these different partners like Facebook. I know there's women traveling groups where you can do exactly the same thing. What makes you different and want to transition to this platform?
All right, Cláudia.
Okay,
jump in.
I think
Rating members. So how do you kind of keep the integrity of your membership?
I think it's correlated questions about trust, which is a very important point. We have now the rating system, as a lot of other startups have. So once you meet someone, you can rate the experience and say, oh, she was a nice girl, or she's smart, she likes doing this and that, and you rate the experience. And we also are partnering with companies that do facial recognition in the login. So once you create your profile, you're going to be asked to do this second level of checking, let's say. But actually, the power is of the community. You can report every user. So once you met someone or there's something strange, you can report. And then we ban this user as well. So
All right, real quick on competition in 10 seconds.
Yeah, so in terms of competition, the biggest one is Facebook groups. So people are solving this right now through this. But the experience is not filtered. It's not segmented. Well, we have heard here a lot about segmentation and personalization. And this is one of the biggest things, because you can filter and you're going to be matched through machine learning to people who have the same interest as you. So there's a percentage of compatibility between people, and this is something that Facebook doesn't have yet.
Okay, thanks, Cláudia. Very well done.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you.
All right, judges, tally your scores for Cláudia. Thank you. Next up, we're bringing up our winner for India, Sanjay Ghare from Vervotech. All right, Sanjay, come on up on stage, and when you start speaking, we will start that 5-minute clock. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Singapore. More than 300,000 travel businesses selling hotels globally online. And all of them work with multiple suppliers in order to get the best rates for their customers. They all face a problem. They go through the pain of duplicate hotels, rooms, and rates because of an unstructured data in the aggregation ecosystem. All of them need mappings. Mappings for hotels, rooms, and rates. So this is an old problem, and there are solutions too. Let's talk about the problems with the current solutions. A human involvement in getting the mappings done leads to a lot of errors and inconsistencies. A flaky hotel and room data, a data in multiple languages, room level attributes makes it more complex. And all of this leads to either unmapped hotels or the hotels which are mapped inaccurately. So problem remains unsolved. And in addition to the broken guest experience, travel industry loses $3 billion every year just because of the bad mappings. Without delay, introducing Vervotech Mappings, an AI-based platform for hotel and room level mapping. Vervotech started on the same day 4 years back to establish a global standard for hotels, accommodations, and make it available for everyone in the travel ecosystem. Let's talk about how we are solving this problem. A fully automated AI-based mappings, which is as fast as real time. A cloud-based solution which you can easily consume through either flat files or APIs. A accuracy of 99.999% in mapping, leveraging the power of ever-evolving ML models, classification and clustering both, image matching, NLP, and a product which is able to map hotels and rooms in multiple languages, global in a true sense. Let's talk about the market size. 300,000 travel businesses creates the market size of $2 billion globally for the mappings. We offer our services to global travel businesses, includes OTAs, bed banks, GDS, suppliers, aggregators, DMCs, TMCs, and so on. They can subscribe to us using our annual SaaS subscription with the pricing listed publicly on the website. And they can get 4 things: accuracy of the mapping percentage, our 24/7 customer success, and transparency into the mapping statistics. Let's talk about how we are acquiring customers. Our articles and content are now published on Phocuswright, TEDx, Forbes, by creating a thought leadership. We are exhibiting in every major travel event to put ourselves in front of customers, including Phocuswright, WTM, ATM, Fitur, IPW, and so on. We are partnering with a global travel tech company so that our solution can be available in an integrated way for them. We are partnering with suppliers to create the trust and transparency in the ecosystem. We are creating the market-specific team so that our team is local to customers, can talk in their languages. And I'm excited to tell you, last year, our lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio is more than 5, which clearly talks about the higher growth and a wider acceptance of the product. Today, we are bootstrapped, profitable business, powering more than 1,000 travel businesses, which includes companies like WebBeds, Ease My Trip, Hotel Planner, Arrivia, and so on. 400% market customer acquisition growth is what we have seen in the last year. A team of 50 people focusing on MENA, North America, and Europe as a region at this point of time. Competition, there are more than 100 businesses doing this globally. This company in Germany has the maximum market share doing this for more than 2 decades. And we are already the 2nd largest mapping provider globally. Our team, which is diverse and coming from travel, technology, product, sales, marketing from companies like Schlumberger, Deloitte, and Taviska. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Sanjay. Okay, judges. All right, judges, paddles up. What did we think? Green, green.
Johnny. Johnny and David. Johnny, what?
Very interesting concept, but I'm missing a little information about what does this do for me, the traveler, and what does this do for the hotel? I understand the concept from just imagining it, but I would have liked to know more about the practical benefit for me as a traveler.
David?
I get the concept, but I'm concerned that, as you point out, there's already a large number of players, and I'm not sure what the failing of those other players are or the points of differentiation are for you.
Laura, you might know a little bit about this problem.
Yeah, I was actually much the same as David in terms of, obviously it is a problem to connect the amount of supply opportunities out there in accommodation booking platforms. So connecting those I think is a real problem, but there are a lot of platforms doing it already. So I would also like to understand what's the real difference for you.
Tarek?
I have a question. And this is a problem that any OTA or any aggregating platform that faces in terms of losses that we do because of wrong mapping and having the wrong information shown. One very important thing that I would like to understand is that this hotel mapping is pretty much straightforward. Everybody does it. Is the room level and contract level mapping is what I want to understand. How accurate and how deep is that with you guys?
Sanjay, you want to jump in?
Perfect. Yeah. So I think most of the questions goes back to there are too many players already and why we are doing this. And I think as I said, after all these solutions, travel industry is losing $3 billion every year just in the bad mappings. As a guest, it is basically a very frustrating experience. As an example, you land to Swiss hotel and they don't have your bookings. So it is very, very important for all the OTAs to give the best guest experience. And I'll end with the question of Mr. Tariq. So we started with the hotel mapping as a first product because that's the problem which needs to be solved to the start with. And we had been focusing a lot in last 2 years at a room and rate level mapping, which includes the board basis, which includes the refundability. So at this point of time, we have a room and rate level mapping as well with the equal accuracy. The only thing is, room level mapping is best for the top selling hotels like luxury 4 and 5 star, may not be that great, is impossible on the smaller apartments.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot, Sanjay. Right on time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have our winner from the US and Canada. Welcome to the stage, Joanna Gruau of Wheel the World. Welcome, Joanna.
Hello, everyone. At Wheel the World, we're empowering people with disabilities and seniors to explore the world without limits. My name is Joanna, and I'm Partnership Manager at Wheel the World. And I'm also a professional racing driver. And as a racing driver, I love adrenaline and speed. And that's why I decided to join this high-growth technological startup that is changing so many people's lives. People with disabilities face several challenges when traveling. The first one is accessibility information. Nowadays, it's not online. Accessibility needs differ tremendously from person to person. And third, the current solutions in the tourism industry do not guarantee accessibility at all. Imagine going back to your hotel room tonight and you realize that you're not able to use the shower, or that you are not able to manually transfer to your bed. These are some problems that people with disabilities are currently facing. Did you know that 1 billion people nowadays are estimated to have some sort of disability? That corresponds to an amount of 15% of today's population. The emerging travel industry for people with disabilities and seniors is larger than China's economy, because nowadays they spend yearly $120 billion per year, and they're not getting the best experience. So imagine the tremendous opportunity that it is. This is why we decided to build Wheel the World with the purpose of making the world accessible. And how are we doing this? Well, we have built an online travel marketplace in which people with disabilities and seniors can find and book places to stay, things to do, and multi-day trips. So far, more than 2,500 people have traveled through us. And since we started in 2019, we've realized that the more listings and the more bookings we bring to the platform, the highest the revenue. By multiplying this year by 3, the bookings, and we will be ending the year with a $2 million run rate. Our business model is that we take 20% commission on every transaction that happens through the platform. We have great unit economics, but what really and truly is the essence of Wheel the World is that we're building an accessibility data ecosystem. And how are we doing it? We're retrieving the accessibility information from all of the tourism services of our partners, and they bring that information and we bring it to the cloud. Once we have this information, we're able to give them a seal and an assessment with some suggestions on how they could improve their services to make them a little bit more accessible. And once that is ready, their product is listed on the website. And what truly changes is that from the other side, the user will be creating an accessibility profile, and we will be matching their very specific needs to the products that we have on the website. So this accessibility recommendation engine, it's tailoring and unique experiences for people with disabilities, and we're disrupting the travel industry with it. And we could not have done any of this with the world-class investors that are supporting us since the very beginning of Will the World. And of course, today I'm the official face, but this is Will the World, a wonderful team of people with and without disabilities that are committed to changing the travel industry and impacting and scaling our business and our influence for the next scaling steps and the next years. But what is truly the essence of Will the World is the following. Please, just take 30 seconds to look at this slide. These are the people's lives that we're changing through travel. Because at the end of the day, all of us are going to have a disability as a consequence of aging. You'll probably have a disability. So if you want to keep traveling, we better start doing something about it now. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is Joanna, and this is Will the World.
Thank you, Joanna. Have a seat. Thanks very much. Okay, Joanna, can we have paddles up, judges, for Joanna and Wheel the World? Looks very green.
Tarek, are you red or green or halfway in between?
Halfway.
All right, why don't we start with Tarek?
I think my first thing was when you looked at these listings and talking about a 20% commission, that itself seemed to be a little high for me, which is why I kind of, I question the viability and the scalability of this operations.
Anyone else? Any other comments, Steve?
Yeah, so I love this idea. It's a huge need, but it's only as good as the data, and it seems like you're relying mostly on self-reported data. So do you have any processes for checking that, for verifying it, for getting feedback from the customers afterwards, and how do you make sure that the data are actually accurate?
Fred?
Yeah, I was wondering, fantastic, by the way, it's a true problem to fix, I think, but how do you manage customer care? Because something can go wrong in the experience, and people will call you, and they're disappointed, or something is really bad in the experience. How do you manage this?
And just one
Lisa?
more thing. Moving forward, do you see this being as an online booking agency, or do you see eventually going into B2B as well, considering you will have created a database that would be useful for others?
Lily, really quickly.
Since you take such a high transaction amount, how do you incentivize suppliers to list on your platform?
Joanna?
Okay, thank you so much for all of your comments and questions. For the first one, for the booking commission, we've standardized in the slide because we didn't have a lot of time. It's a 20% for multi-day trips, but for places to stay, it's lower. It's 10% and 15% for things to do. And we work with the tour operators. Always we're flexible with the business rating transaction, depending on their operations as well, and our operations in the country. From these questions, it's true that right now the market industry in terms of disabilities, it's not large enough. We're bringing and integrating a lot of new enterprises, and it's really hard to scale because we're getting partners to introduce the information, the accessibility information, but at the same time we have community and they are retrieving themselves information. We have a mappers program in which people all around the world will visit cities and accommodations within the same city, and they will be retrieving the information for the tourism services. And I forgot.
Customer care, really quickly on customer care.
Customer care, that's the most important part for us because they call us a lot, and we have an experienced customer service behind it of around 10 people that make sure that there's no problem. And when there is, because sometimes there is, we really make sure that after we grow from that feedback, and we make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Okay, thanks, Joanna.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Okay. Next up is our winner from Asia Pacific. Please welcome to the stage Benjamin Aswade from Work Lounge. Benjamin.
Take us home.
So much. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, have any of you found yourself in a situation where you needed to hold a high-stake business meeting, but just couldn't find the right place to do it? I know that when I first moved to Southeast Asia and I was building my own hotel chain, I needed to host daily meetings with investors, shareholders, and partners, and needed a quiet and comfortable place to do it. But all I could find was loud coffee shops or busy co-working spaces that would be totally unpredictable in terms of noise levels, comfort, and quality of the overall experience. This is why we decided to create Work Lounge, to help solve the common problems of the modern executives and high-earning professionals when it comes to remote working. The lack of predictability, consistency, and the ability to plan their day around a known network of spaces that are conducive to their special needs. So what are those special needs? Well, if you think about the 3 key priorities of an executive, it's going to be top-level hires and in-person interviews, board of directors and investor meetings, and customer acquisition and customer relationship building meetings. Any space that is not conducive to achieving a positive result in these high-stakes business meetings is actually detrimental. This is when we saw a huge gap in the flexible office industry, and we took it as an opportunity to create and launch a high-end workspace distribution platform. Work Lounge now gives those professionals access to a network of 37 executive lounges in luxury hotels as a predictable and consistent office solution. By having stayed in the top-tier luxury properties and staying true to the high-end and exclusive nature of our brand, we've created the perfect benefit for loyalty-based companies such as banks, credit cards, airlines, etc. Today, some of our most notable corporate partners include CIMB Bank, Kroonsgri Bank, Central Malls, AirAsia, with a lot more in the pipeline. Just to give you an idea of our revenue potential, with just 4,600 monthly members, we would be generating over $1 million in monthly recurring revenues, with about a 50% profit margin, giving the rest to our hotel partners. This is, of course, excluding all of the day passes and the yearly memberships that would be sold in that same monthly period. My co-founder, Chris, was an early-stage employee at WeWork as the director of sales in the hypergrowth team, and will be leading the business development efforts at Work Lounge, duplicating a lot of the same successful strategies that were part of the WeWork expansion. I myself spent the last few years before the COVID pandemic building my own hotel brand, targeting remote workers and wellness travelers, which allowed me to build a deep understanding of what this consumer is looking for and the value they bring to the hotel properties. With added credibility through our recent corporate partnership deals, we're starting to have regional-level conversations with some of the largest hotel brands in the world for them to onboard large inventory of spaces. Our proven ability to scale on both the hotel supply side and the membership side is by far our greatest strength. As hotel properties look for new and innovative ideas to grow beyond the COVID pandemic, Work Lounge is the perfect partner for them. It's free for them to join. We pay for 100% of the customer acquisition cost, and we drive additional traffic from the local business community of high-earning professionals who truly appreciate the level of service they offer and the amenities provided on site. But don't worry, even if you're not an executive, you too can treat yourself to the Work Lounge experience. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Great job, Benjamin. Have a seat. Judges, paddles up for Benjamin and Work Lounge. Looks pretty green.
Pretty green. Steve, you're sideways. Why are you sideways?
So I mean, I like the idea that you're sort of unbundling the hotel, and I've seen other concepts similar, unbundling different aspects of the hotels. I guess what I'm unsure about is, kind of what space in the hotel are you giving me access to? Is it a hotel room? Is it the restaurant? Is it the lobby? And why can't I just, I can show up and use the lobby. I can book a table at the restaurant. What's special about what you're offering?
Yeah.
Laura?
Yeah, I think a great idea, like we were saying, that I think there's an opportunity there for hotels to get additional revenue. I'm just wondering that you're targeting execs. Chances are staying in those type of hotels anyway, so we'd have access to the lounges and the business centers. So who else are we targeting those are not staying there?
Tarek?
I think one very important thing that, like any of these services are based on certain inventory that is available, right? How do you ensure that this inventory that you show is actually available, and how do you scale it up from an automation or an integration point of view?
Yeah. Morgan?
Yeah, I love the space, like bringing local to hotels. I think this is a great value proposition. My question would be like, how to make sure to attract enough people to really help the company grow.
Lily, really quick.
I'm just wondering, what's the market for like locals living in APAC who would use something like this?
Benjamin.
Okay, great. A lot to unpack here. So the space we provide, one of the only things that is not negotiable with the hotels is that we give access to private areas that are reserved for in-house guests and VIPs, like the executive lounge. There would be no value if we gave access to cafes, lobbies, etc.
Are execs staying there anyway?
Yes. So we're targeting the local business community primarily. So we're seeing that the majority of our users are using lounges that are within a 5-mile radius of their primary residence. For us to be able to scale, we are penetrating now through the executive lounges. But what we're seeing is that there's a lot of general managers who don't have executive lounges who have asked us if they would be able to invest in the furniture and building very high-level workspaces themselves, because they see this as the next wave of revenue stream for their properties.
All right, thanks a lot, Benjamin.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Okay. Thank you to all of our startups, and well done, everyone.
How about a round of applause for the judges?
Yeah. I don't envy the judges, Pete. They're going to have a hard time doing this today. But we will be tallying all of the judges' results, and we'll be announcing the winner of the Global Startup Pitch Competition as Startup of the Year at 5:35 today, so come back. And all of you, again, will be able to vote by downloading the QR code here, or downloading the app, scan the QR code first, and you can vote for the People's Choice. We will also announce that at 5:35 today. So we're excited, and we are grateful that we've had such a wonderful response to the Global Startup Pitch Competition with WiT and Phocuswright in partnership for the first time.
All right, see you at the awards.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.